Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Monday evening live session. Well, while the lighting of the video is still an issue, I at least can now zoom in on stuff, which is quite cool. So today is another Monday, and on Mondays I usually do my most hobby stuff, either kitbashing or painting or doing both. And today I might go through a few design choices I did on that Wurmspat guy and start building the second one, or at least brainstorm through a few bits. I hope video quality is good. The thing with the zoom seems quite nice. Video quality on my end appears to be really good. Oh, children painting, okay. Waiting all day. Hope you didn't neglect your other duties while waiting. As the second character of these stands on a stone or plinth or something, I'm gonna pin him with some 1mm wire to a wooden cube to be better able to work on him. This was necessary with this guy because his feet are even and flat. He's still missing the toe cap over here. That's part of his original base. So there's no real program this evening. I'm open to answer questions as far as I can see them posted on my tablet, which is in a slightly different angle than usual in front of me. You can adjust a little bit. I have a few ideas for the matron as well. Yeah, basically I want to keep the aesthetic and the overall look of the models and just cyber them up, make them a bit more inq28 or Warhammer 40k, so that I would be able to use them in a regular Beastgrave game with friends without having them to think too much about what the model represents. Well, the close-up is quite cool. I think having the camera a bit further away will suit us better at the moment. So the plan is to have pretty much a cut down version of what I will probably tell you in the next hour, recorded for YouTube, considering how I choose parts for this guy, how I want him to look in the end, and of course I want to record the whole process of him being converted, and I will come to a few ideas that I have in a minute, as soon as I have put the other guy on his base on that cube, so I can work on him later, and maybe to get some initial ideas down on him too. So the first thing I did with these is cut away all those nurdle horns. They might look cool on the original models, but I definitely don't want that aesthetic, and to be able to experiment a bit more. I'll cut off the pins that attach the arms to, and we'll work with blue tack from there on. Also won't use that head, but want it to be in place at the beginning, so you can follow my train of thought. So I can show you on this model, because I don't want to dismantle that one at the moment. So here's where I usually start, with the base model pretty much assembled. I usually leave all the parts that I definitely don't want to use at this stage, but with him the pose is cool, his two axes are nice, and they give the model its special aesthetic and feel. So those will all be elements that I will keep. As you can see, the only thing that I got rid of design wise on that guy is the huge top nut, but in a kind of way I redid it, or reinvented that part with the artificial spine over here, if you get my point. I hope everyone can hear me. I'm not sure if my sound's activated. I hope so, else this would be quite boring, right? Well, it should be. Okay, so I've rummaged through my bits box a while ago, and I picked all those models up. Here we go, let's see what we have. As all those should look like inquisitorial henchmen or chrono gladiators or something like that, like misbuilt Mechanicum Skitari or something like that. Sinister boys, it's always good to have some Teruges on them, some cable stuff and mechanical parts from the Cataphren servitors. I use them a lot. Also these are from the same kit, some graviton guns, something like that, I think. No, that's not the graviton guns, but the close combat arc welders or stuff like that. I've pulled out a few helmets, Grey Knight one, just to see if it would look cool to go with something of the same design like the other dude. Adeptus Mechanicus Skitari stuff, corpse grinders. Also, I like the boxed in heads they have. And my favorite at the moment is one of these Goblin Riders, because, and that's sometimes one of the most important or conductive indicators that a certain bit would fit a build, that it's attached exactly the same way as the original head would be. You wouldn't even need to build something differently, and it gives him a cool, comical yet quite sinister appearance. So somehow I tapped my finger on the comment section and didn't see that, or if anyone posted a comment. Sounds good, cool. So, yeah, and another obvious, or the thing now is, with the first part down, it usually leads to the next part. It's quite obvious that he needs something around his chest, and that he needs something at the back to get the head closed in, so to say. Let's zoom out a bit to get a little bit, the view a little bit clearer. So the first part, and probably again through sheer luck, a part that probably will stick with that model, is the corpse grinder chest plate, or one of the corpse grinder chest plates, simply because it fills the silhouette nicely and is almost as odd looking compared to the usual 40k stuff one can see as this goblin helmet. So, and with corpse grinders already out, the most obvious thing to give this model a 40k vibe would be to give him chain axes, those meat grinder chain cleavers, whatever, instead of his regular ones. I also will either scrape off or fill out all the Nurgle icons on them as soon as my milliput and green stuff gets delivered. The shoulder pads are pretty cool as is. I've also clipped that part out of the coarse grinder sprue to maybe be used on top of the head or to go around the head or something like that. Not sure yet. I set to rouges. It will be quite hard to save that part that's inside the greaves here, so I just cut this. I don't know if playing music in the background is still a thing that will get you kicked while live streaming. Haven't done it for quite a while, so feel free to put on your own stuff at home while you listen to this. So that's definitely too long, won't go in the right place except if we get rid of his belly and put something like an armor piece down there, and it doesn't really add up to the movement. For that it should have been more like that. So that was a unnecessary chop, to say the least. That can always happen. I might want to try to use these Goliath arms, combine them with a corpse grinder axe, and then get them somewhere close to this, but I think they are too small. Let's see what the new Necromunda Goliath say about that. These Kitbashers probably won't be as sophisticated as some others of mine, of course, because it's not a redesign in the true sense of it, but yeah, well, it's only a redesign of the details, not of the essence of the model. So picking parts that are close to the original seems like the best choice. and they work better than expected. They may be too much, but the arms definitely have the right size and proportions. So the thing would probably be to somehow incorporate these chain things into those axes. The main issue I have with these at the moment is that one covers too much of the body. That could be an option, but looks odd, and we would have to fill that space here with stuff that wouldn't look that good. It would have to be more realistic than I want to be. Another idea would be to cut the arm here and just turn the wrist around, and we could probably do that if we use that other Goliath arm to make a kind of placeholder. I think that will be the first thing that I will try. That will be the first thing that I will really cut, because I know that I want to use the arms. I know that now they have the right proportions. I want to use that hand because it grabs a straight shaft, so I can easily replace the axe with something different, be it those flesh chain whatevers, or even if I cut away the axe and decide to use parts of it or use it completely later, I can just reattach it. For the arm on that side, I have the option of doing a mechanical, bionic thing, because it always looks cool, and making a model incongruous, like one side bionic, the other fleshy, almost always looks good. Would look better than giving him just two mechanical arms. We could do that on this side though, to get another angle, like with that, so we have the mechanical part over here, and have done what I else would have achieved or would have tried to achieve with swapping this part against that piece, rotating it with everything, and then replacing the axe. So having a bionic cyber arm with a kind of integrated chain weapon, and using the fleshy arm with the braces from the Goliath. Where's the other one? Over here. And going little chainsaw would be a cool option too. So it's always good to think one more time when you have a piece there and you think that's it. Just have another look into your bits box, just to be sure that you don't ruin anything. I will definitely need to sculpt around that part here, because it's rather small, which gives me, on the other hand, the opportunity to add a bigger shoulder plate here to make that side really armored, and the other side with maybe small armor pieces or no armor at all would also look fine. Idea for that would be, for example, to just integrate the axe somehow, or go with a chainsword, Army of Darkness style. So I need to take a little break to get me some water. We'll be back in a few seconds. Here we go again. Any questions so far? I will also keep these parts till the end. I said at the beginning that I want to use those armor plates, but as we go with totally different arms at the moment, I might just use other parts for pauldrons instead. I'm not sure. Another cool thing about this setup at the moment without the shoulder pads is that I have freed up the whole back of the miniature, which will enable me to add other cool stuff like an engine or something. Engines are always good. Some cable running to the bionic, something like that. Now we can see that this part, if we cut off all that unnecessary stuff here, this part could form a nice crest around that helmet. Let's just do that. Also, I definitely won't use this part for my coarse grinders because I don't like the aesthetic of it. I want to keep, we'll try to keep that thing here. Now to not break that thing. I don't know, probably building for tomorrow, yeah, would be a cool post to have the 3 Wurmspat pre-built for inq28. So somehow this would connect all these parts. Probably the teeth would be replaced, even that stuff around here. Then we go in with the head, gave him yet another neck, and now he looks like a real scary cyber tech penguin going along with a ninja turtle. That's rather cool, I think. I think I will also try to find the original claw that comes with that arm here, so I can see if that might work. And if we go with another close combat weapon than the original axe or the twin axes, and just focus on getting 2 close combat weapons, it might even look good with the Goliath axe on that side, because from this angle the proportions are quite cool and the axe does not cover too much of the model. It does cover a little bit, that's for sure, but not too much. And if we place you can see on how the placement of the arm hugely alters the stance of the model. While this looks quite odd, that would take a lot of imagination to think that he is just lifting up the axe. When we put it to the back, overstretch his shoulder, it gives him a ponderous movement where he tries to slap his bulk up some stairs, something like that, shifting his whole weight to get his feet up. Stabbing sword, not sure. Underslung sword would be quite cool. These are still, we have lots of options, or just a stabbing spike or something like that. Let's get rid of that. Of course, at some point you have to cross the line and begin cutting stuff, but I always recommend that you try doing that at the latest moment possible, so you don't ruin too many bits. There's always bits that you will cut apart and thus ruin, and you will or might never use on a kit bash. Oh, look at that. Do you see how good that fits right here on that panel? That was sure Bob Ross happy accident, I would say. The Iron Golem mace arm. Yeah, I think it's too big though. Wait a minute. if I still have it on sprue. No, I only have the hammer left, because the mace was used as knee pads for my Black Shield Space Marine, sadly. There are some cool hammers, or we could go for a flail. Flail could be a cool thing. But I think I'm going with either with the claw or the chain axe thing. Don't know where my Cadaverine servitors are at the moment. Oh, here they go. Hey Sani, hope you're well. Thank you. Let's have a look at these Cadaverine servitors. So we would have the option of this whatever arc welding thing. Don't know, I think I haven't built any Cadaverine breaches yet. Only have the weaponized guys with the graph cannons built. Here's the come on, the Judge Dredd Mean Machine claw, and hopefully, yep, here we go. Here's the third finger. That's for the moment pretty much all I want to use from these. Of course, if you would like to go another road and don't be restricted by the original appearance of the models, you could of course go with a gun arm or something like that. That's kind of obvious, I would say. So I don't have time, but I think we are into this for about 20 minutes, and I usually take 20 to 30 minutes of brainstorming on a miniature. Sometimes it's more, sometimes less, and that doesn't include sifting through my bitbox before I start at all. Yeah, I think the claw is super cool, and even as both arms are going in a totally different direction, the pieces appear that he is in a kind of going to scare jump someone. So this is a pretty cool stage, and I would say that that's the stage where I can now move in and cut stuff apart. and it's pretty much the same stage as this guy is. I have the roughly the same look as the original model. I have the same weapons, the same stance, more or less, and the only thing I will now convert are details like stuff like the armor plates, additional pouches on the belt, maybe get rid of the hacked off heads, maybe not, I don't know that yet. Yeah, and that's pretty much how far I am with that one too. And the only thing that I actually replaced is the head of the model and the arm, and even the arm is essentially quite the same. The original has that mutated tentacle with that spear. I have pretty much the same height on the model. I think that it's something like, would be something like that. So I changed the pose slightly to give him that resting, waiting, ready to act feel, and I still have the option to somehow add that ponytail thing somewhere, like a backpack or so, but I mentioned that before, that I have kind of the same aesthetic with the spine at his back. So these two were the easy ones. The third one is a bit more complicated, but I have some ideas already, and I will show you that in a second. Where do we go? So here comes the mother or whatever. What I have in mind for her is to be either a psyker or some kind of tech priest. I want to replace most part of her belly with that Death Guard Space Marine armor. And the first thing that, or the first head that I grabbed was that granite piece with attached eye lenses, because I like it, and it's always kind of an odd face that would look cool on a warrior, on a mage or something like that, or on a lobotomized servitor thing, something like that. But I don't think that it will fit nicely here. At this stage it would be a good idea, or could be a good idea, to go through all the accumulated bits that I have lying around from the other builds. So going for the knight head, of course we have to imagine then that it is set a bit more behind. This could work if we would build a kind of cowl around it. Would go rather okay with the design of that, but I think it will come more to something like, didn't I flip out that other head? Like so the chest plate would be on that height roughly. It would totally replace the breast and belly. So assuming that a head swap with this probably would be cool, we would try to set it deeper into the shoulder. Now I could think of the Poxwalker mechanical arm that I should have lying around somewhere to replace those fingers, and replacing her left arm with the Mechanicus staff, but getting rid of all the Mechanicus stuff and then go more like Imperial Eagles or something like that, or a small blade, or a little two-handed hammer, or yeah, slightly more symbolic staff. Maybe I even have a tiny bell somewhere, not sure. Let's see if I can get that Poxwalker arm. I have a hunch that it's not too far away, but I could be probably am mistaken. No, it's not. It's not here. I don't think. Is it in the easy to build Poxwalkers from the Warhammer Conquest minute place? So it's sadly not in the Warhammer Conquest sprue, but in the other half, or in the regular kit. Here we would have that part again. Little canisters for her, for sure. Here, a cataphracti shoulder pad for our big guy. So practically I'm doing a cross build somehow now to get a few parts in place around all three. Yeah, I'm sure we'll find some hand replacement for her around somewhere. And I'm too not sure if I might replace those shoulders with something like that to give him still more of a knightly look. That's something to explore further. Yeah, exactly. I had the X from that other Magos that comes with the kill team box, but that was way too ornamental. But yeah, mainly getting rid of the extra thing here and maybe get rid of all those parts around, only leave the Mechanica symbol, and then go in with a smaller, or even go totally, come on, where are you? Replace it with something like that. So it's a real slim staff. and doesn't take away too much from her silhouette. Could even be that I use the mechanical arm on her, him, his, whatever. And I also have, yeah, well, there's lots of stuff to consider about her, and the ideas aren't that far at the moment. That collar would look cool around the head and could form the base here instead. What is it? Instead of the Death Guard breastplate, or I could probably merge that into something cool. I'm not sure at the moment, so this will need some time. You can simply pluck that off. Yeah, so it would need cutting nonetheless. Let's get a strip of double-sided tape onto that, so we have her fixed and can handle the build a bit better. Here we go. Let's just do that so we have him, her, whatever on the same height. Might adjust that one too, so we can have a picture later of all these early stages together. And from what I see here, no, I don't want to get rid of parts of that piece here. At least not at the moment. Another thing could be to use the carapace of the Magos, like that part over here, to go over her back. Would be pretty cool, but that's a big conversion, and I'm not at the point right now to just try that. That was a lucky shot. Usually I try to avoid shooting stuff around, but at that point right now, I didn't care too much. So these pieces don't combine without cutting them away or apart, so this will need a bit of thinking about it. Or we could place that over here. No, probably not. Yeah, so it can be easy, it can be complicated, can be a back and forth. Yeah, Afraid Cow would probably be cool. There's a alternative head of that Tech Priest, which has that conical stuff, but I find that that's not what I have in mind for that. Oh, come on. So using 3 parts of a different model to make something new is rare. Those 3 parts are from the same kit at the moment, but it might as well be that I don't use them. I'm not sure. A mechanical hand would be cool, as said, something to fill out the parts on her belly. Iterating comes into use more often than not these times. Would have made a nice attachment to that. It seems I'm going out of blue tack. That shouldn't be too. So yeah, we have the penguin, the turtle, and the I don't know what yet. Certainly coming along and getting somewhere. If I can find something that goes like a forearm replacement, I would probably can get away with using a Primaris Psyker arm or hand. Another thing I could think about is to make that character faceless. Like being some kind of weird automata altogether. Somewhere in my bits box there is that domed helmet from the Gene Stealer cultists. But as said before, I'm not quite sure. So the hour is nearing an end. We have 15 seconds left. I hope you could learn something. I will share this live stream in my story, and I will also upload it to YouTube. So stay tuned and be excellent to each other.